Hello everybody, and as you might be able to tell from the signpost in the background there, I've come over to West Kirby on the Wirral, which is where I seem to spend 95% of my time these days. And I'm actually sitting on the Wirral Way, which used to be a railway line and has now been changed into a public cycleway footpath. Very easily accessible, and it makes a great outing for anyone on foot or on bikes. I'm not too sure how successful I'm going to be here in West Kirby today, but the main thing I wanted to do was to say a huge thank you, because we're now at the 1,500 subscriber mark. Now that's probably a very small milestone in YouTube land, but to me it's really important, and I wanted to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you. Let's go and see what photographs I can take today. Over the way there we have West Kirby railway station. And as I pan you around, we've got probably the most famous sort of architectural little area in West Kirby, which is the Crescent. So West Kirby remained a very quiet rural village until the coming of the railway, which of course is probably the same story for hundreds of different little places all across the United Kingdom. But when the railway arrived, it really blossomed, became a very popular Victorian resort, and to this day it remains very affluent. Nice tidy little town, probably most famous for, apart from the Crescent which I showed you back there, probably most famous for its marine lake, views across the North Wales and Hilbre Island, which we're heading to now. As regards equipment, I've just come out today with the Sony A7, the standard 50mm 1.8, and a different legacy lens. Now, for those of you that saw my, I guess, first installment, you'll realise that I had purchased a lens which I was very disappointed in, and that was the 28mm Camuranon. And I used it since, and my impressions didn't improve. So I traded that in for an albeit very well used, well loved, some people might say, Super Takumar 28mm 3.5. I'll put some images up for you so you can see what it looks like. Yes, it's had a hard life. The filter thread ring has been dinged. Pretty sure somebody's had a go at getting inside the lens. But today's the first day I've been using it, so the proof, as they say, is in the pudding. Anyway, we're down by the marine lake now, so I'll show you that next. So this, in the immediate foreground, is the marine lake, built in Victorian times. The seawall was rebuilt after a catastrophic flood, I think. But it's a massive area of seawater, used, as you can see, for yachting, windsurfing, canoeing, paddling, and you get those fantastic views across to North Wales. And in the far distance, over, where are we? More or less dead centre. Somewhere there, you can see part of Hilbre Island. That's the, I think it's called the East Mouse or South Mouse, Little Mouse. I'll get it right and I'll put the correct name for it in the description. I'll show you the main island in a second. It's a really quite breezy day today, so I hope the sound isn't affected too much. But and I don't want to go into too much detail, but over there in the distance you can see Hilbre Island. That's the one to the right-hand end. And then in typical Alan fashion, I got the name wrong. The middle one of the three is called the Middle Eye, and the one over to the left is Little Eye. And hopefully later on during the summer I'm going to be taking a walk out there. It's one of these things, it gets cut off by the tide, so you have to be extremely careful about timing. And of course wearing the right footwear, which I definitely am not today. So hopefully if I can manage to do that, we'll delve into more of the history later on this year. So before I get back on the way home to Liverpool, I'm going to cut in a short piece that I filmed the other day. A couple of old relics that I saw. No, I don't mean me and my friend. You can have a look now and see what you think. You know, it's funny, you come out on these miniature expeditions, in my case in search for both photographic subjects and historical artifacts and places of interest. And today I've come down to typical suburban street in the south of Liverpool. I think it's Stalebridge Avenue. And as you might be able to tell, I'm underneath one of the main railway lines into and out of Liverpool city centre. And I've come down here today to photograph something which has stood here since probably 1940. I'm guessing definitely 1940. If the sound gets a bit echoey, it's because I'm underneath these girder bridges. Amazing. Again, Victorian. And all I knew about these particular relics is the fact that they are marked on Google Maps. So I knew they were still here. And I've taken a half-hour trip to come and find them. And I've probably chosen a bad time of year. The undergrowth is pretty thick. But I'll just show you where they are and what they are. And here we have 3 remaining dragon's teeth, which were used right across the country as tank traps, a way of blocking road access for any potentially invading German tanks during the Second World War. And as far as I'm aware, there are just these 3 left in Liverpool. If I find a record of any other ones, I will correct myself. So I'm going to take a couple of stills. They're not going to be anything to write about, but for posterity, if nothing else, and my own interest, of course. Gets very noisy down here. I think I've just spotted a fourth one remaining across the road. Indeed, yes, there is one here. And I'll just give you a quick view of that as well through the vents. There it is in amongst all the blackberries and brambles. Well, there we are. I managed to take a couple of shots both sides of the road. It's for posterity. Let's be honest, these are purely and simply record shots, and nobody's going to be viewing these on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere like that. On the way down here, I did actually spot two things of interest. One was a London and North Western Railway boundary marker plate actually set into the pavement, which I've never seen before. That's just further along this railway line. That's a pretty rare survivor. And also a couple of nice signs painted on the side of what was a grocer's shop and has now been converted into flats. So I'm going to head back that way now. Maybe you got some little bit of information out of that clip that I put on about the World War II dragon's teeth. Well, that's a sort of whistle-stop tour around West Kirby. And probably not the most interesting parts of it, to be perfectly honest with you. But today was more about getting out on a gorgeous late July day and saying a massive thank you to everybody. As I say, 1,500 subscribers is nothing really, but to me it means the world. The channel will continue as it is. I'm not going to ask you to smash the like button and hit subscribe. If you like what I do, I'm sure you'll watch it anyway. Photographically, I don't have any hopes of getting anything wonderful out of today's walk. We shall see. I hope that the 28mm Super Takamar is okay. It's far from mint. But hopefully it can't be any worse than the Kimura was. I'll obviously cut in whatever images I think are worth showing to you. Well, good or bad, really, to be honest. But for now, from a beautifully sunny West Kirby, I'm going to say thank you so much. Enjoy your photography. And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Stay safe. Bye-bye.